Hello, folks. This video is called How to Engage a Fanatic. It was inspired by a New York Times editorial by David Brooks, who wrote, how to engage a fanatic, because he was realizing that you can. I've lost my stylus. Oh, found it. How to do it. Well, as I was reading the editorial, I went, well, I know how to do that. So the first thing you do is to engage a fanatic is to ask them this question: who's important to you? Now, you might not ask it just like that, but ask them about their family. Who's important to you is what that says. So ask them anything. I do this, that diagram you're looking at right there is called the matrix diagram. And it starts with who's important to you. That is a great way to engage anyone. Just know that. That's a great way to get started. And so with that, I'm really not talking to a fanatic. I'm just talking to a fellow human being who has people who are important to them. And I just want to engage in a conversation with them about who's important with them. It doesn't have any deep conversation, but, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, neighbors, business associates, whatever, whoever's important to you, we talk about it. And then along comes another part of the conversation, and it goes over here in the lower left part of the matrix there, or here, and that's what can show up and get in the way inside of you, what can show up inside of you. So that's stuff like fear. So what can show up, boy, that was a bad U. Let's try that again. Up. And get in the way. So I already said fear. Well, if you think about when you want to ask somebody out on a date, or you just thought about asking somebody out on a date, and boom, fear shows up. Fear of rejection shows up. And if you went with the fear, that is, you didn't ask them out on a date, well, then it would have obviously have gotten in the way of you moving toward who's important to you. Well, in life, there is all kinds of things that show up inside of all of us and get in the way. Anxiety and tired, we're just too tired, not enough time, all kinds of stuff shows up and can do that. We also, because we get all stressed out and stuff, we'll do things to avoid, and that is to lessen this junk down here. Maybe there's pain down here, so you want to lessen that pain. Take an aspirin or something. Fear, you run away to lessen the fear. You get frustrated, so maybe you pound on the table or something. All kinds of stuff can show up. And the problem with it in this case is it can show up and get in the way of doing things for who's important to you. And so the last thing we would talk about is, well, what kind of stuff can you do to move toward, and what kind of stuff do you do to move toward who's important to you? Do you text them? Do you call them? Da-da-da-da-da. That's how I start. That's how I would engage anyone. And I have done it. And I've engaged what people would label as fanatics, okay? And I have gone into rooms and I've had conversations with them, really great conversations with them. And this is how I started. Now, I have done it, usually I have the matrix diagram. That diagram is called the matrix, and I use that. But I can also just ask it as 4 questions. So that's question number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So we can do it that way. But that's David Brooks. If you get to watch this video, that's one great way of engaging a person. And it doesn't matter if they're a fanatic. It's just a great way of engaging a person. Now, with that said, we can go on to another part of this. So what we do is you sort of start a whole new diagram. And the way I do this is erase everything. And I ask a question, or we get around to a question, what's our shared purpose. And me and everybody else on this world share at least one shared purpose of something. We want to do something. We want to forward some cause, or we want to take care of the earth, or we want to be better pet lovers or something. I don't know what. We have something in common that we want to have a shared purpose for. Great, we can join together. So I want to find out. And I know it sounds strange, but it is true. Even if somebody's a fanatic about something, you can not talk about that for right now, and you can find stuff that you share in common, that is shared purposes. And it's important, not just shared ideals and stuff, but shared purposes, because that gets you toward behaviors that both of you can do to move toward the shared purpose. Stuff over here, what can show up and get in the way. Inside of you, what can show up inside of you and get in the way. I'll just put get in the way stuff, question mark. Well, there's that stuff. You know, once again, fear can show up and get in the way of moving towards a shared purpose. Anger could show up and get in the way of moving toward our shared purpose. Frustration could show up and get in the way of moving toward our shared purpose. All kinds of stuff. And of course, this is yucky stuff. It doesn't feel good. Well, how that happens, I don't know. How my stylist, got to get a better stylist one of these days. There we go, yucky. It feels yucky. All this stuff down here feels yucky. I figured out what's going on. And you want to do stuff to lessen it, move away from it. And so we talk about what we do to, you know, avoid, to lessen this stuff. We all do it. And there, talk about that. And finally, we can talk about what we can do to move toward our shared purpose. So what behaviors might I do? What behaviors might they do to move toward our shared purpose? It's cool. And that's how I engage people. And then when we have all that in place, maybe the fanatical stuff has shown up. Maybe it hasn't. I don't know. But we're now ready to have a legitimate conversation about that stuff. Say how it fits into this big picture here of, you know, me and you being humans, and us being humans together with probably at least one shared purpose that we have, and maybe more. Maybe we'll discover more, in spite of the fact that maybe you people have labeled you a fanatic about something, and maybe they've labeled me a fanatic about something. Okay, we're both fanatics, great, but we can have a conversation. That's how you engage people. It really works. It's been tried with hundreds, thousands of people. And I have personally done it with some very disparate groups. We shot a documentary that's being prepared where we had gun rights folks on fanatics on the one side, or I guess what we're calling it, fanatics on one side, and gun control, let's say, or anti-gun fanatics on the other side. And we had a great conversation across 3 or 4 meetings. So it can be done, and I've done it with many other groups and stuff. It really can. This works. There's tons of science behind this. I'm not going to get into the science. I'm just going to tell you. So how do you engage a fanatic? First thing, find out, ask, whatever, who's important to them. Have a conversation about who's important to them. And then you're going to lead in what kind of stuff shows up inside of you and gets in the way. You know, the regular everyday stuff that we all have, fear and anxiety and tiredness and not enough time and all that stuff. And then, hey, what's your favorite avoid moves? You know, you're like, what, Netflix or YouTube, or you take a drink or two, you know, go get a beer or something, whatever. And then finally, what kind of stuff do you do to move toward who's important to you? And then you loop it around again, do that same set of questions again, but this time it's about what's our shared purpose. We have some shared purpose, we can discover it, and then we can do stuff to move toward it. And then lo and behold, if the fanatical stuff shows up, well, we can have a conversation about that. It works out pretty good. So there you go, how to engage a fanatic. If you're interested in chatting with me for free about this stuff, or to get additional training with me or something, there's a link down below. It says Calendly on it, program where you can click on it, find a time, and schedule a time with me. Of course, I'll verify, send some emails to you and verify you're a human, not a robot, all that kind of stuff. But most people are legit, so just, find a time, schedule it with me, and we'll chat about how to do this, or how you can get more training in this. That's, by the way, called the pro-social matrix. Those 2 loops around that. So there you go. Bye-bye now.